this time last year, Ho Ho Horror 2019, I did a trailer reaction to a movie that came out shortly after. And it was extremely negative. I was not happy about it at all. I said not going to get to it this year, but I'll get to it next year. And now I'm finally getting to that. And it is exactly what I thought it was going to be from that trailer reaction. 2019's Black Christmas. I refuse to call it that, but that's what it is. The second remake, reimagining of this film. 1974's Black Christmas. Yes, this cover sucks. This version sucks. I need to get a better one. Classic, all-time classic, proto-slasher, great movie. And 2006's Black Xmas, which is way more of a remake than this one is. And I know I ranted on this, both in the review for this and my comparison video. This movie makes the 2006 one look really damn good. It makes it look very good. Now, it's no mystery as to what this is. Well, actually, first, it was released in America, at least, Friday the 13th of December. So all the marketing got to have Friday the 13th of December. It was directed by Sofia Takal, who I have not seen any of her other films. Stars Imogen Poots, which I will say she's a very capable actress. I've seen her in a number of things. Liked her 28 Weeks Later, liked her in The Green Room. She's definitely the most capable actress of the bunch. Has Carrie Elwes. It was great to see Carrie Elwes. Fortunately, I had to be in this film. And of course, it's a Blumhouse picture. Of course it is. Grossed $18.5 million on a $5 million budget. Okay. They were very, at least with this movie, I could tell by the trailer what kind of movie it was. And I really try my best to not get political on this channel. But with films like this, it's really, really hard not to get political, because that's exactly what this is. This is a... There's really no nice way to put it either. I mean, I could tell by the trailer that it's a very feminist, female empowering film, which is fine. If you want to do that, that can be a good thing. But don't... I'll get to that. I will say the teaser posters for this, before the trailer came out, there was several. One that's just a black poster with the sharpened candy cane with the blood on it. That looked really cool. I really like the look of that. One with a green Christmas ball with blood on it. Again, looked really cool. And then another one that's like almost all black, and then up in the corner, we can see there's a girl laying in the snow, dead, but the snow has been made to look like a snow angel, which is a scene from this. Again, really cool. I like the look of all that. But then they gave us the actual poster, which really looks like a Hot Topic, PacSun. That doesn't look like Black Christmas to me at all. There's two positives I can give this film. One is behind the scenes, and one is the film itself. From behind the scenes, they did not try to hide what this was. Yes, they were trying to make a very feminist film. It wasn't like 2016 Ghostbusters where they hid behind it and just accused haters of misogyny and all that. they came right out front with it. They're like, yes, this is what we're making. This is what we want to, this is the direction we're going. That's where we want to take it. Admirable. Fine. At least they're admitting it. The only other positive I can give this, some of the production. Some of the shots, I would say, are well done. There's one of Imogen Poots where she has, I think it's like a broken broom handle or something, walking through her sorority house, and it's all these reds and greens and yellow Christmas lights. And it's all like shining on her with the dark background, or it gets softer the further it goes back. Really like that shot. There's shots like that throughout it. It does do a good job at maintaining the Christmas aesthetic. Doesn't really... It's not super Christmassy as far... Like, I think they mentioned Christmas break a couple times. Other than the aesthetic, snow outside, one dance they do dressed up like Mrs. Claus, and then again trees, presents. Yeah, the Christmas aesthetic looked fine. Huge problems. One, this isn't a very good movie to start with. Even everything political set aside, it's your typical Blumhouse fare. It really is. But there's two huge fundamental reasons as to why this doesn't work. One, it's a slasher film. It's also PG-13. Now, I am not one that says PG-13 horror films don't work across the board. No. There's plenty of good horror films that are PG-13. There are plenty of good horror films that are PG. Jaws, Poltergeist. Actually, go back then, there's actually a bunch that are PG. Even more modern films like Insidious. You know, there are good PG-13 horror films. Slashers, on the other hand, you gotta have an R. Slasher, that's one where, okay, you really do gotta count on the blood, the kills, the gore. There's, like, I can watch a PG-13 horror movie as long as there's atmosphere, characters, story. Where slasher films can have that too, but slasher films, you really need the blood and gore. That's what makes them a slasher film. So PG-13 doesn't work. Two, why would you try to make a feminist, like, girl power, like, women empowering film that's a slasher film? Are you really generating anything new here? It's a slasher film. The subgenre that gave us The Final Girl, where every slasher film, just about, at least all the really big ones, there's always the strong woman who's usually single, always smart, resourceful, and strong. Is always able to fight the killer. And even then, sometimes it's sort of women empowering because some people chalk it up to, like, stabbing the killer, like stealing his manhood and killing it. We've had 40 years of female empowerment in slasher films. It's like, it's a really weird genre to try to bring that political aspect to it, to push that agenda. It just doesn't make sense. Why not do something that really, or the kind of film that really doesn't have a lot of female empowerment? Slasher films, we've had it for 40 years. You're not doing anything new. It just feels forced. So PG-13 slasher film doesn't work, and trying to push the a feminism agenda in a slasher film doesn't really work because there was plenty of it there to begin with. And it was fun as hell to watch. It was never no one ever complained for those 40 years. Oh, how come it's always the woman that has... No, there was never any of that. We loved seeing our final girls. We loved seeing her realize, okay, it's fight or flight. I gotta stop this killer. That's why slasher films have lasted so long. So, right then and there, it makes this film not work whatsoever. And then you just have a bad film on top of it. And I mean, half of these girls, because part of the trailer was the whole, you messed with the wrong sisters and we're all gonna fight back. Yeah. 2 of these, get rid of. You're not gonna get used to them at all. It's these 2 and a bunch of other ones that we know nothing about. They team up with later on. We know nothing about them. It's hard to root for them, actually. But, okay. Like these 2 Black Christmas films, and yes, I do know there's one... There's an unrelated Black Christmas film, and then there's like a Black Christmas 2, The Night Billy Came Home, from like 2016. Whatever. Like these, okay, a group of sorority sisters at this sorority house. This one does kind of put it on a bigger scale. It kind of goes through the whole university. Actually, want to get the name of the... Well, first, it takes place at a Hawthorne College. Starts off, there's this girl. She's on her way home. She's a student there. She thinks she's being followed by this guy. She goes to fight back. He walks off. It's a fake out. But then there's a killer. He grabs an icicle, gets on top of her, stabs her. No blood. But, you know, she's writhing in the snow. It makes a snow angel. We get the aerial view. Poetic. Yeah, I get it. Snow angel. She's dead. Then we get introduced to our group of girls. They're all part of the Mu Kappa Epsilon sorority. Riley is Imogen Poots. We get the idea that she, 3 years ago, was assaulted by someone in this one fraternity. And it's the founders of fraternity. And she's having a hard time coping with it. Carrie Elwes is a professor. I think it's of English or literature. This girl is trying to get a petition. She's the embodiment of the feminism in this film. Get this petition because he only teaches white male authors, basically. So within 10 minutes, we get someone saying white male supremacy, patriarchy. It puts it right on a platter for us. And when it's so forced, it really makes it hard to enjoy. Especially in today's climate, you know, trying to find some sort of escapism to get away from all the politics. And then when you force it that much, it makes it hard to enjoy. There's going to be this thing, there's going to be like this talent show at the fraternity's house. They decide to put on a little show. Riley doesn't want to do it. But then this other girl gets sick, so they get her to do it. And it's this sort of sexy Mrs. Claus type costume, song and dance about college rape culture, essentially. Calling out the guy that did that to her. And then they all start getting these texts from Hawthorne College where they're being pretty much taunted and stalked. And then they have to figure out why. One of their friends is killed. And they go through the girls pretty quickly, and then by the time they figure out what's going on, it's just these two. I don't even remember how the first girl was killed, or the first girl in the sorority. But I'm sorry, I'm reading up on something. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this. I'm literally stumped. That's really all I can say about it without going through the plot. And this movie's so forgettable. Like, okay, one girl was killed with the icicle. One girl was strangled with Christmas lights. So, okay, they're killing them in Christmassy ways. The killers are these cloaked figures with glowing eyes. They seem supernatural. Which, glowing eyes, that does look kind of cool. Considering one of the most famous shots from this film is like someone's eye looking through like the crack in the door. They could have done something really cool with that. Also, it's another one of those, like 2016 Ghostbusters, all the male characters are either just assholes and, you know, obviously rapists, or they're really weak and awkward, or they're just dumb. I guess you could say the one guy that is, I guess, Poots' love interest, but he doesn't really do anything, really. He's really nice to her, and then the cloaked figures get a hold of him. Yeah, we get this time it's a cult. Yeah, it's not an anonymous killer. It's not a Christmas-obsessed mental patient serial killer. It's some sort of coven or cult. There was a bust of Hawthorne in the main building, but there was a petition to get it removed. It went to the fraternity's house. That's all exposition later, but if it sounds like it's all over the place, I mean, do I really have to try with this movie? So yeah, she's like the driving force of all this. They're attacked at their house with a bow and arrow. They kill one with the plastic bag over the head, which, watching the special features on here, which I did, the director says how the plastic bag kill is such an iconic image from the original film. Why not switch it so now it's the woman killing the male killer that way? Just like the mask they wear, I guess according to her, it's modeled after this iron mask from the 18th century where husbands will put it on their nagging wives to keep them quiet, as if to say it's their way of putting this be quiet, stay in your place symbol onto these males and kind of do what you're told. Because at one point, like before the talent show, she's walking around and she sees this sort of culty ritual going on where they're getting pledges, shit drawn on their forehead. And so they all go, after they kill the one with the bag, they see like 2 or 3 more. 2 of the girls there get killed. One gets like a shard of glass through the eye. She is in a chair in like the attic area. So, kind of. And then she wants to get to the police, and Poots is telling her, I thought you were a fighter, screw this. And then when they're in the car together, it's like that whole exposition-y, I figured it all out, let's explain it to everyone that's watching. Like there's some sort of magical power from the bust, because when they took the mask off the one they killed, they saw this black fluid. And they weren't covered in blood. They were covered in this black, inky fluid. So she thinks it's supernatural. They have to get to the frat house to smash the bust. If it sounds stupid, it could be how I'm explaining it. I'm really not interested in this at all. At one point, when Poots first realizes that one of her friends has gone missing, she goes to like I can't remember what you call them, but like the security. I was going to say the campus police, but security. And he just blows her off. He's like, well, it's probably nothing. It's Christmas break. She's probably with her boyfriend. It's nothing. See, again, male character being useless. But then when he gets a call during, the killer storming their house, he's all of a sudden on it. And I will say this was a good fake out. We think he's going to go meet them at their sorority house. But just as they're fighting the killers at their house, he goes through a door to another sorority house where there's screaming girls killing one of the killers. So then we get the idea, okay, this is campus-wide, apparently. So, okay, that's a decent fake out. Poots runs into her potential love interest. She gets him to accompany her to the frat house. And this movie tries to have a twist. Like, it really wants us during that third act to be like, oh my god, is that what that is? It doesn't do a good job at concealing it. We can already tell, yes, it's a cult, targets women for whatever reason, which we'll find out later. And clearly it's run by Cary Elwes. Because he acts creepy every time we see him. He always gives these foreshadowing. He's like, which we get to see him talk with his English accent, so that's cool. He kind of gloats, like, yeah, they want me to get out of, it's a petition, but there's no evil cult, nefarious meetings. No, there's none of that. And then when they're walking through the frat house for the talent show, we see portraits of all these members, and of course we see Cary Elwes. So they do a very poor job at making a twist. We find out that the girl that was sick for the talent show, she's in on it. She has to collect all of these items from each girl that got out of line. Because that's what the cult does. They get their pledges, they put that black shit on them, they're possessed by the spirit of Hawthorne, founder of the school, supernatural abilities, and any female student that is out of line and needs to be taken care of, this girl collects personal effects from all of them, so the pledges know who to go after. Because after the beginning credits, this girl bursts into her room saying, I can't find my diva cup. I need a diva cup. Okay. So then we get to see that during this, when she says, oh, the pledges needed items. So we see the diva cup. We see a comb. So she was in on it. And then, of course, they screw her over and kill her. And, there is one moment that really could have made this work. Which first, okay, actually I'll save that. So then, of course, well, she's driving around trying to get to the police. The other girls from the other house that we haven't seen at all through this entire movie, they get her stopped, they get in with her, and now they show up at the frat house to save Poots and I guess her love interest, who's now part of the cult, brainwashed. And that's when we get the thing from the trailer, like, you messed with the wrong sisters. Which, not really, because they killed more than half of you. You're with a completely different group of sisters. Smash the bust. Fight them all off. Barricade them in a room while it's on fire. They stand outside. It ends. There you go. Oh, and then while that one girl is explaining why she betrayed them and started working with the cult, is because going on this whole thing about how, just because we're number 2 doesn't mean we're not needed. We can still be good women. We just have to do basically being, I guess, the submissive female voice in all this. And my biggest problem is, why did this have to be Black Christmas? Why? There's nothing about this that's Black Christmas, other than it's Christmas time, sorority girls, killer. That's it. And what I was going to say, one of the things that would have made it work, that would have had a really good arc, was while all the sorority girls are fighting the cult members, the one that assaulted her a few years ago, which also, it's been made known that everybody at school knows he did it, but they're all giving him the benefit of the doubt because he is an upstanding fraternity guy. I guess like a Brock Turner kind of thing, like if Brock Turner was able to get off charges, giving him benefit of the doubt. No one ever believed her, which I know that is something that happens, and it sucks. So while they're all fighting, there's a part where he gets on top of her, and it shows her fighting, and he holds her arms down, and it keeps cutting back and forth between that time and the assault from 3 years ago, where he was holding her down. And then that's when she gets her power to overpower him and hold him down and kill him. What they should have done was, instead of trying to make this film for modern issues and just piggybacking on name familiarity, which is what this is, it's the same reason why a lot of comic books are going down that road now. A lot of comic books and characters are getting these modern issue rehauls, because it's easier to take a pre-existing property, change it around, than to create something from scratch and try to win everyone over. And that, to me, is exactly what this is. They have this idea. They can try to, they can use the name Black Christmas. People know it. Longtime horror fans, newer horror fans, they all know it. But that, to me, just says, if you're trying to make this statement, but you won't make it an original idea, you have to piggyback off of something that already exists, to me, that just shows a complete lack of faith in your own product. Why not, and this sounds stupid, but bear with me. Which, first of all, the tagline, Merry Christmas, is way bigger than the actual Black Christmas. Why not keep it Merry Christmas, but change the Merry to, Mary, like the girl Mary. And then make it a feminist movie. Completely fresh idea. Nothing Black Christmas. Right there they could tell, okay, Mary as in the name, okay, girl power. And then have that be her arc. Where, okay, she is this sort of shell of her former self, prisoner of her own trauma, and then eventually is able to overpower that with the guy that did it to her before. And then if you want to mix in all the cult ritual stuff, that could have worked. And then you have your own film. It can reach that audience. Fans of one of or both of these can respect it more as its own property. But no, they just thought name familiarity would be enough. I don't really know what else to say about it. I didn't even want to give it this much time. And there's so much I wanted to say about it, but I'm so scattered. I'm so scatterbrained about this. Oh, and I guess males, when they like try to be helpful towards women, they get like these migraines and there's like this stinging sound. I guess that has to do with the cult as well. But there is one part where this girl's boyfriend kind of steps up and take away with this what you will. But when they did their talent show, one of the girls had it filmed, uploaded it, it went viral. And then, but at the end of the video, it's more of just we hear the exchange of like, yeah, we got them, yeah, fuck them, kind of. So this is before we find out it's a cult, and Poots thinks it's the frat getting really pissed off and just retaliating. The boyfriend of this character's, I guess this is what he gets for trying to, I don't know. He was like, look, you went up there, you insulted him, of course they're going to be pissed off. Why is it you can say all men are pigs, all men are rapists, and whatever, but anytime a guy says something, it's automatically hatred. And he gets thrown out of the house. Take with that what you will. I don't like getting political on this. I really don't. But with movies like this, I have no choice because that's all this is. This is just an agenda-pushing remake that is relying on name familiarity to get it out there. They should have just called it Merry Christmas, Merry like the name. Go with it. Go with everything in this. Just go with it. And it wouldn't have saved the movie because it's still a bad movie, even on its own merits, aside from the political stuff. But it would have been far more respectable for trying to be its own thing. Poots is a decent actress, but you could tell even with this material, she is struggling at times. Carrie Elwes, Wesley, come on. Gordon. But if anything else, politics aside, just bad movie, it's a PG-13 slasher film. You're going to get just as much out of this as you are the 2008 Prom Night remake. You're going to get the same. You get the same outcome from it. And also, again, it's a slasher film. There's plenty of female empowerment throughout the entire genre. It's just going to feel more forced than it already is. I don't really know what else to say. I figured I was going to go on for quite a while. I was hoping on a half hour. I know I didn't go much into the plot, but There really isn't much to it. Yeah, I'm not devoting that much time to it. I really did not like this movie. It sucks I had to buy it, but now I have it, so. Again, I know my videos have been very spaced out lately. Things are still very hectic, so I might have lost my groove a little bit. So if this wasn't a very good review, just as far as how scattered and unorganized it is, I apologize, but yeah. Blumhouse has done it again. Another example of how politics should stay out of entertainment, or at least find the right avenue or film to take it in. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a much better remake, and I'm still not a fan of this. This is still an absolute classic. Fuck this movie.